All right, welcome to Fat Man Yoga episode 1. So this is for basically people that need to do yoga that don't want to do yoga. So I'm one of those people. Yoga is super important for flexibility, mobility, things like that. But what I've run into over the years, especially doing rehab, people are injured and they can't get in these positions because a lot of them are maybe uncomfortable for hips, for backs, because they're already so tight and then injured on top of that. So actually I discovered something when my daughter was about 6 months old. She's almost 4 now. I couldn't sit on the floor and play with her. So one of my big things was, this is ridiculous. So I started Fat Man Yoga basically back then. So my first position was sit on the floor. So I couldn't sit on the floor and play. So I sat on the floor. You just hold those positions long enough and you practice those, you get better at them. And it takes some time. But then before you know it, I kind of transformed into, let's take a yoga pose that I want to be able to do and then get there maybe eventually, but modify it. So that's the whole point of this Fat Man Yoga series. And we'll do several episodes of this as we go through. So today we're going to do dragon pose. So it's a modification for dragon pose. A lot of people really like this, especially now with CrossFit and all these different things, because it helps with opening one hip, well technically both, but when you do one side, it'll open one hip in like a squat position, and then it'll also stretch the hip flexor and quad on the other. Everybody's got tight quads, especially in CrossFit, especially in weightlifting. Tight quads, overdeveloped quads is a really good position for them. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of what the dragon could look like. There are a ton of modifications already for the dragon pose, which is fine, but I'll show you my modification. It might be beneficial. So here's the position. So dragons, again, several modifications, but the key is this hip is in almost like a half squat. The other hip is in a hip flexor stretch. And then you're down into this position. So you really lean into it, and you can feel it kind of in the groin on the right, and kind of the hip flexor on the left, and quad on the left. Again, I'm not very good at that position. So I'm gonna show you a modification for that. That's gonna look like this. So, happy baby position. For me, it's gonna be a modified happy baby. That'll probably be another episode. Happy baby is almost kind of in this position. If you can grab the insides of your feet, that's even more ideal. So you'll hold your leg here, and you'll take one leg down. And the whole point again is to keep this leg almost in that squat type position and then letting this relax. And I feel a nice stretch in the quad, hip flexor, maybe even a little TFL. You might even a little cramp there. And I'll hold that for as long as I can comfortably. I'm starting to get a cramp, so I'm gonna switch. Happy baby, straighten the leg. So now I'm opening the left hip, getting the right quad and hip flexor. So again, really what I'm doing here is I'm just flipping it upside down. You're laying on your back. It's a lot easier position. So that's what we'll try to accomplish. Get some through these, some of these movements, and then hopefully, I get back into this, retest kind of that dragon position. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to get into, but again, we'll go for time. So maybe first time you try this modification on your back, do 15 seconds. Maybe go up to 30 seconds. Basically staying in it as long as you can comfortably, up to maybe 1 to 3 minutes. For me, I lasted maybe 10 seconds. So I started getting a cramp. Get out of it, relax, try it again. So, cool, thanks.